Here's a tutorial using Joy Lacquer nail polish. We're going to be using 94 Grunge No More. We're going to be topping off our water marble manicure with Sparks at the Space Needle. And we're also going to be marbling with Birkenstocks No Socks. I'm going to go over a few of the tools that you will need to begin your water marbling. First, you're going to need something with a very fine point. You can use a dotting tool like I will be using in this tutorial. You can also use a toothpick or a needle. The next thing that you're going to need is a bowl of room temperature water. I am using unfiltered water and I'm using it in a glass bowl. The water that you're using does not need to be filtered. I've heard a lot of people say that it needs to be filtered, but I haven't had any bad luck using unfiltered water, so I'm going to continue using that. I just kind of pull it out of the sink and let it sit on the counter for a few minutes. The next thing that you're going to need is a small cup of acetone. I just put it in the cap. I use the Up and Up brand acetone with strengthener in it so that it has a little bit of gelatin to keep my hands moisturized. After that, you'll need some Q-tips to clean up the excess around the bowl when you're done making your design. You'll also need some tape to tape up your fingers. Any kind of tape will do, masking tape, scotch. You can also use school glue, liquid Palisade, or any liquid latex to keep your fingers safe. If you want to deal with all the cleanup, go right ahead, be my guest. I also keep a paper towel covered in acetone handy to clean my brush off between the different patterns that I'm going to be doing. We're going to get started with 2 coats of whatever your base color is going to be. In this situation, my color is going to be 94 Grunge No More. It's not perfect. If there's a little bit of splotchiness or it's still kind of sheer, go and don't worry about it because we're using Birkenstocks and Grunge to marble. It'll blend very nicely with your base coat. So let us begin. We're going to tape up our fingers. This is a small piece of tape. We're just going to wrap it around the base of our fingers. I'm sorry that you guys can't really see this, but you should all know how to tape your fingers up. So go ahead and wrap the tape around the edges here. So now that our fingers are all taped up, we're going to go ahead and start to make our bullseye. The bullseye is going to be the rings that you form before you start drawing in the water with your design. So we're going to start our bullseye with some Birkenstocks No Socks. I'm going to try and do this as slowly as possible. And then we're going to drip in some 94 Grunge No More. Notice that I'm not too far away from the water, and I'm not using as much polish as some would think you would need to. The color may look very sheer in the water right now, but it will soon look a little bit more opaque, and the color will show up very nicely on your fingers. You can always water marble with neons or creams. You can water marble with metallics. Some chunkier glitters may not water marble as nicely together, but these are nice shimmer polishes and they look so amazing on your nails once it's all finished. Go ahead and continue in this same manner until you have as many rings as you'd like. You don't need a certain set number of rings. I'm going to keep going for a little while because I want a really stripy looking pattern, but if you want thicker stripes or thinner stripes, just add more or less depending on what you prefer. Alright, now that we have our bullseye formed, we're going to go ahead and take our dotting tool. And don't be afraid to move the bowl, so I'm moving it so that it's a little bit easier for me to draw my design in. And once you have your fine tip, we're going to do a very simple pattern right now. We're going to pull into the middle, take your brush out, or dotting tool out, and clean. In from the side, clean. In from the other side, clean. In from the bottom, clean. If you like this, you can leave it. I want to keep going, so I'm going to basically cut each petal in half. What you do to one side, you're always going to do to the other. Symmetrical, just like a butterfly. In, middle, clean. Middle, clean. Alright, now that we got our bullseye formed and our design formed, we're going to get to the fun part. We get to dip our nails now. So if your pattern's big enough, you can do 2 fingers. I don't feel like doing 2 fingers with this pattern because I think it's pretty intricate. I just want to start off with 1. You're going to go in at a slight angle, dip your finger. You're going to take your Q-tip and clean the excess out of the water. Some people like to blow on the water. Joy's polishes dry pretty quickly on the surface, so you don't really need to blow on it, but you can, and just take all the excess out with your toothpick. Then you're going to slowly draw your finger out of the water. Once we're all top coated, I will go ahead and show you guys the final design. So let's get started on our next design. On this one, we're going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to start with 94 Grunge No More, and we're going to do the same exact thing and create our bullseye. So you're going to take a small drop of grunge, start with that, and then go forward, grunge, Birkenstocks, grunge, Birkenstocks, until you have the size bullseye that you would like. So I finished my bullseye on grunge. You're going to take your dotting tool now, and we're going to do a different design. We're going to pull out from the middle, and anchor your design to the cup. So if it sticks to the cup, that's okay. Then we're going to take your point, and we're going to do fine lines across one way, and then the opposite way. One way, clean your brush, and then the opposite way. If you want a more fine detailed pattern, make sure you're cleaning after every line that you do in the water. I'm going to show you another way to do this is if you want to go from one side just to the other, and you'll get more of a wavy design than a pointed design. I like them both pretty much equally, but for this particular water marble, I think I'm going to do the wavier side. So pick whatever looks nice to you. I'm going to take my ring finger now and dip right here in the wavy side. Then take your Q-tip and clean off the excess. Once you have it cleaned off, you can go ahead and lift your finger slowly out of the water. And here's the design. So really quickly, I want to show you guys what happens when your water is not clean on top. See how it didn't spread? That's because there's still some little bit of film left on the cover. It may slowly start to spread, but if there's too much of that film, it won't spread at all. So, as you can see here, it just kind of stays there. Sometimes that film is clear, and like you can see right here, you can barely see that it's there. So make sure that you're cleaning off your water very well. Take a moment and create your next bullseye. Alright guys, so now that we've created our bullseye, the next pattern that we're going to do is called a starburst pattern. So you're going to start from the middle, go out, anchor to the cup, out, anchor to the cup. Clean your brush off. Next you're going to go at a diagonal to the other side of the cup, and remember, repeat on the other side. Then you're going to go down from the middle and middle back down. Then we're going to take each piece that we've had and cut that in half and dip in the middle. Clean your brush. Pull in, dip in the middle, clean your brush. Pull in, dip in the middle, clean your brush. Pull in, dip in the middle, clean your brush. Pull in, dip in the middle, clean your brush. Pull in, dip, clean your brush. This is called the starburst pattern one more time, and what it looks like is, well, a star. So go ahead and take your finger, pick whatever part of the design you want. If you want to make it smaller, like I'm going to a little bit, just dip right in the middle, and then pick the area that you want to dunk your fingers into. This is a really nice design, and I like it enough for 2 of my fingers, so I'm going to 2 at the same time. Put both of them in there, get your Q-tip, clean off the excess. I had an air bubble, so I'm just going to pop that really fast, pull it off with my pointed tip. And then finish cleaning off the excess here. And then slowly pull your fingers out of the water. Alright, so now we're going to create another bullseye. Go ahead and do that, and we'll finish up our last finger. Alrighty then, now that we have our last bullseye formed, go ahead and grab your tool. And on this one, we're just going to go a little bit crazy. Do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to do like a simple flower to start off. Kind of just draw some lines here, there, wherever you feel like, man. And I'm going to cut this in half one more time over here. And then make these really thin over here. And kind of just make whatever I think looks good. If you notice one side of your pattern's not looking so fan-diddly-tastic, then just go ahead and ignore it, because that's what I do. And, well, you know, you don't need the whole pattern for one tiny little nail. So I'm going to use this part over here probably for my little thumbkin. And you're going to take your thumb and turn the bowl for your thumb. I think that sometimes you are used to putting one finger in, but you're going to have to turn for your thumb. Dip it. Take your Q-tip, clean off the excess, and slowly pull your thumb out of the water. So guys, let's go ahead and apply our top coat and look at the final product. Congrats everyone on making your water marble a success, hopefully. I hope that this video was informational to you guys. I really enjoyed making it for you. Please comment if you have any more questions, and don't forget to like this video. Have a great day, guys.